Hi Leo, how are you? Let me just... Okay, there we go. I'm Ali from Indigo Ascension. This is going to be your weekly reading for the week beginning March 30th, 31st into the first week of April. Now, please know that all time is fluid. Don't mind my washing machine in the background. Wherever you find yourself on the timeline is exactly when you need to hear this message. If the message doesn't resonate, Leo, I encourage you to go ahead and check your other natal placements. So just because the sun was in Leo at the time of your birth doesn't mean you'll resonate with your sun sign message this week. You might be dealing more with your emotions. So I encourage you to go and check your moon sign. You might be more concerned about the relationships and connections in your life, which will be reflected by your Venus sign and how you're feeling about all that right now. So that is the purpose of our natal chart. It's a multi-dimensional reflection of ultimately everything that makes us who we are, Leo. So how are you feeling? You had quite a strong reading, the intuitive reading I did last week for Leos. Collectively, I felt a strong coming into self-esteem and empowerment. So let's see what we pick up this week. So the way intuitive readings work, obviously, I pick up on a collective message and theme that's going on out there. My intention is for healing, for clarity, for confirmation, for all those who might happen to cross this page and hear that message. So let's see what comes through for the lovely Leos this week. Wow, Leo, are you just on a roll or what? Are you feeling this energy? This is the abundance card, okay? And sure, every card has a reversed or an upright energy or a shadow and light connotation, okay? So there's themes around abundance. Are you feeling abundant, Leo? Are you feeling like you've got your security in order? I know that, collectively a lot of people are going through some challenging times. We're all in this together, okay? It's affecting every single one of us in one way or another. There's nothing, personally, there's nothing more sadder to see than small and medium-sized business owners who've really invested a lot into their dreams and goals of autonomy and independence see, their reality sort of just get completely pushed to the side. People in paid employment with, mortgages and whatnot, but, some heavy responsibilities when it comes to finances suddenly find themselves in uncharted territories. It's a stressful time for many, no doubt, okay? But I am picking up on this energy of feeling abundant and the importance of abundance, even redefining what abundance is for you, Leo. If there are no definitions on whether you can go back to your job just yet, if you're at home with your family and you all have good health, that too is abundance. I think the world we live in primarily has got a very big material focus on the surface layer of things, but ultimately no different, to how we approach energy healing when it comes to the many different elements that make us who we are. Abundance too comes in many different formats in our life. Are you feeling abundant, Leo? Okay, so let's check the tarot and see what the tarot might want to say when it weaves a little story for us. Please know these are general, not personal readings, and if you are chasing a personal reading, then there's details below in the description, along with information on the cards I use and the work I do at Indigo Ascension as an energy healer and intuitive reader. Okay, Leo, working with the energy of abundance. When we're working with abundance, we really invoke it. It's not about wishing and hoping, we invoke it. Okay, just like our perceptions and our beliefs, our feelings command definitions around our experience of reality. If we're to experience anything, it's because we have decided. It's because we've made a choice. So I'll leave that in your capable hands, Leo, to determine what abundance means for you. Let's have a look. This feels good, okay? In order to feel abundant, there's a balancing and some sort of spiritual cleansing, inspiration happening. I see that for probably the collective that I'm picking up on are probably more so concerned about finances right now, not feeling abundant. There's a spiritual balancing here though, Leo, okay? Because I do see there's a need to get rid of and release yourself from emotional weights around uncertainty, around feeling like you are in conflict with your reality, and needing to look at things from a higher principle, okay? So what's going on for you right now? The Two of Wands and the Hierophant. The Hierophant invites us into higher principles, higher ideals, looking at things from a higher perspective. You know, there's spiritual lessons here. Look, and you know what, Leo, there's all of the zodiac readings that I've done so far this week have had a very big focus on this spiritual aspect of our experience. We've found ourselves in week 1, 2, or 3 of isolation for the most part, and obviously further still for many out there in the wider world. However, when all else falls away and where suddenly our whole society is put on pause and the everyday mainstream no longer looks as it once did, it can feel, hey, stop that, don't bark. It can feel uncertain, and it can feel a little bit scary, you know, while we're trying to redefine. Come here, please, do not bark. Daily readings at home with animals and children. It definitely feels uncertain. You know, when we receive news or something suddenly happens, there's that shock element, Leo, okay? But then there's time to sort of let it permeate and sit within us so that we can actually start to decide how we feel and think. So for this week's zodiac readings, I do pick up for many, we're sitting into this energy where many are reaching out for some higher principles and ways of looking at our opportunity in order to feel hopeful, in order to feel like the future looks a bit bright or something is going to come right for you, Leo. I suggest you go up, okay? This is even wise counsel for those that are inclined, you know, religious or spiritual guides might be helpful at this time, or seeking just that spiritual aspect, that spiritual view, I should say, Leo, is going to help you feel hopeful. You might also be connecting in to a fire sign or a water sign. You might have that in your chart, which can help you understand, Leo, what element of your being you're actually working with. If you're feeling overly emotional, go check out your moon sign, which will give you some suggestions. You know, really research it too. So if your sun sign is Leo, but your moon sign is Libra, well, Libra is all about the balancing. You know, Libras know how to balance their emotions, or the importance of that per se. There's a lot of value in thoroughly getting to know your natal chart, you know, just because you're a Leo on the outside and you might come across as gregarious and this real vitality kind of energy. Underneath, you might be a water sign at heart, which is quite a different energy altogether. So I do feel for the Leos that I'm picking up on today with this reading, it's, you know, you're definitely wanting some good news, wanting some higher guidance about current circumstances. And in typical Leo fashion, you are, despite everything that's going on, you are hopeful. I'm also picking up on Leos that are actually got quite a good wicket going on at present, whether you work in essential services, whether you find that your business, your role, your circumstances are actually quite ideally suited to this reality many of us find ourselves in. I feel that there are some Leos out there that are actually able to look at this opportunity as abundance, okay? But apply that, how that fits, because I do feel there's Leos out there that do need this balancing that will only come from a higher view of looking at their reality, okay, to get that spiritual cleansing and healing. Ace of Cups is underneath this. The Page of Cups is above. In the past is the Eight of Wands. I feel like I'm connecting to Leos that are perhaps not connected to their family. You might be working a lot. You might be finding yourself, you know, working days at a time because you work in essential services like health or whatever the case may be, or the military. And there's lots of communication there, and a need to feel like you're wanting to connect into your loved ones or someone special, Leo. And I do see here that for some Leos out there that something has only just begun. There's a connection that's only just begun, a new leveling up in a relationship that has only just begun but has been thwarted by circumstance. So it's like there was all this rush. I do feel like I'm picking up on a Leo that has had some form of new beginning and a connection that ultimately has been thwarted. So given the circumstances, okay. You know, I'm also picking up on some Leos out there that might be redefining family connections. I'm looking at this as conflict card, you know. So whether there are Leos out there that, because of the times we're in, you're re-looking at old conflicts in a new way, because ultimately, you know, the true cost of pride is we lose connections, we lose love. So I feel like I'm picking up on Leos that are looking at conflict or old conflicts in a new way, given the light of circumstances we all find ourselves in. And on the other side of that coin, I also feel like I'm picking up on some Leos out there that are actually conflicted or walking into conflict because they're looking at their connections in a whole new way. How each of us deals with a crisis or a sudden change to our circumstances when it comes to operating in those deeper trenches of survival mode, which, mind you, Leo, is so far removed from feeling abundant. It's, you know, when we're deep in fear, who we are and how we react is going to be different for everyone. And sure, naturally what comes with that territory is people might come across as selfish, people might come across as not seeming to care, because I am picking up on a story here where someone feels like, wow, I feel disconnected, or I'm seeing connections in a whole new way because of everything that's going on. Okay, but that can go both ways, Leo. I just thought I'd mention it. It might even be a paternal figure, a mother figure. If I'm speaking to a male, it's, you know, a water sign female in your life, perhaps. It's you're looking at a water sign in your life in a whole new way, Leo. There's a balancing here, and ultimately what that means for you, okay, when the Justice card shows up with the Eight of Cups, who else got this? The Eight of Cups has been showing up quite commonly. You know, when we're faced with unprecedented circumstances, and each of us are given an opportunity to stand at the crossroads to decide how we're going to feel, think, perceive, and step forward, that process is different for everyone, okay? But ultimately what has to go in order for us to process new responsibilities that come with, that might feel like emotional burdens or thought burdens, we have to clear the room to be able to carry that, because this is huge. You know, this is an ongoing thing, and we're in for some challenging times for sure that aren't going to end tomorrow. So for many people out there, Leo, all the old conflict, all the old emotions that you've perhaps used to carry, you know, you're finding that you're probably walking away, and you have to walk away from that now because your focus has ultimately just completely went left field. Like all of us, our focus has suddenly shifted into something that has such a strong potential to impact our base survival needs and skills and abilities and perceptions of ourselves, okay? So naturally what happens is relationships fall away. We release old pains. It's not important, and I know it's important, okay, but suddenly so much stuff is not important. And in this, Leo, is a gift for you in order for you to truly define abundance. Okay. In the uncertainty, in the letting go, in the clarity that you might be getting in some of the key relationships in your life, for better or worse, you get to redefine what makes you feel abundant. You get to address what your particular needs are at this stage, which are different. When life is going okay, you know, our needs are different to what they are when we're not feeling safe, when we're feeling like we need to establish some strong foundations again, given the new circumstances. So for you, Leo, in order to feel abundant, I feel like I'm picking up on a few different Leos out there that are looking around going, you know what, despite everything that's going on, we have our health, we have each other, I am abundant. Even more so abundant because I feel free and grateful that I'm able to let go of so much stuff that I thought was important and no longer is. Okay? And of course, like I said earlier, the other side of that is you might find yourself in circumstances in your physical reality where you're actually able to tap into abundance and materialistic abundance simply because you're in high demand. But I do see that it's causing conflict in some way for you. You might feel conflicted naturally because you have to go out there. Maybe you're dealing with the public a lot. Maybe you have some genuine fears around that, okay? But the biggest message here is I do see that for those Leos that perhaps are working towards some material goals or feeling disconnected or feeling really burdened by the past perhaps, or your week is actually about this awakening to some higher principles about true opportunities in your life, what and who has mattered the most, what you choose to carry with you moving forward, and ultimately it's this spiritual healing, so that you're able to redefine what abundance means for you. You know, for those of us that chase career goals, at the end of the day, what we truly want underneath that, and the reason why we want those goals, is so we can provide for the family that we have because we love them, you know, and in times like this, all we want is for them to feel safe and well. Okay, so abundance gets a new definition for you this week, Leo. Definitely a spiritual balancing and a healing. You know, I feel there's even a conversation for some of you in regards to a key relationship, a past situation, someone from the past that you had walked away from. There might be an opportunity to talk. And I also think that some Leos are walking away from certain connections, friendships, family, might even be love connections, okay? When true colours are exposed, Leo, it's in those moments we get to decide ultimately what connections nurture us, what we want to keep, what it means to have our cup full, okay? There's karmic balancing here. There's definitely some news, and for some Leos out there, there's children involved, okay? This is the start of, you know, for those picking up on the abundance theme, this is the start of something practical for you too. This is a gift. This opportunity is a gift. This sudden awakening to the truth of connections in your life and the reality of your life, it's a gift, Leo. It's a gift because it's a spiritual cleansing and a healing, a balancing, okay? That can also pertain to a financial gift for some of those Leos that are expecting some good news and wanting to free themselves from burdens. You know, this is celebration. This is a marriage card. This is recognition for your efforts, Leo, being seen for who you are. And when we decide to karmically balance, when life helps us karmically balance our connections, ultimately, you know, genuine reciprocity means being seen for who we are and for the efforts we put forth. That's when we feel abundant in our connections and the love we have to give and receive, okay? You're letting go of something, Leo. There's a lot of walking away, and what you're letting go of is ultimately perhaps some old stuff, old beliefs about connections, old ways of looking at connections in your life, old conflicts in your life. You're letting go and releasing old ideas of abundance and success, which has been a theme for a couple of people, a couple of zodiacs this week. And what you're ultimately walking into is a future of stability, okay? So if you are concerned about finances, I do feel for those Leos, you've got some good news coming. Yes, this week is a little bit about conflict for another 5 days, okay? However, I do see you're going to be receiving some news that ultimately helps you look at your situation in a whole new way, and within 6 days, there's some energy that points towards some security, okay, that ultimately feels like it's going to give you that basis for a foundation that ultimately shapes a secure future, all right? There's so much. I could just keep going with the tarot, with the stories. The Judgment card, the Devil card, you know, the Empress card. It's this coming together of clarity. It's using our head and hearts together coming together, you know, with family, with friends, with connections that matter, that ultimately nurture us under the energy of the Empress card. We're moving away from toxicity. We're moving away from whatever it was that we were tied to, beliefs, careers, jobs, people, connections, family, love relationships that were ultimately not good for us. Their focus were material. The focus was egoic and unhealthy ultimately, you know, because when we get raw and real, when the trumpet sounds, Leo, we all have a choice as souls to step forward and to play our part, to release what no longer serves us, to release the past, to forgive ourselves for our own transgressions, to forgive others for theirs. But that is when we step forward and decide, when I'm vibrating at this new awareness of myself, because I'm seeing myself and my life from a whole new level, when I'm vibrating at this new awareness, because everything has suddenly changed, and I'm filled with spiritual nourishment and sustenance and inspiration to help me balance my journey to date and everything that's happened from the past. It is at that point that we are empowered to bravely step forward into an abundance of opportunity, into an abundance of a future that ultimately matches us, matches our vibration, Leo. And in free of that heavy emotional debris, past memories, pains, perceptions, beliefs, old ties and toxicity, when we are free, we are automatically abundant. It removes the density in it, and we suddenly have space to receive abundance. If love hasn't been working out, if situations haven't been working out, if you don't get that big creative break, if you don't seem to be able to get ahead with your money, there's probably energetically a lot of density there that ultimately has to be let go of, that is toxic, and that is well and truly overdue walking away. I've lost my 8 of Cups, because we can't welcome the new if our hands are full with yesterday's stuff. And tomorrow's abundance wants to make its way to you, Leo. If you're not feeling it, you soon will be. And this is a new way of looking at abundance and why letting go is so important.